Yes, it's back. It's nearly back. The greatest league in the world, some may say, is nearly back. The Championship resumes a week on Saturday, and we're here with a preview ahead of the big day. So I'm going to run down my predictions from 24th to 1st, starting off with 24th, Sheffield Wednesday. Now, as we all know, they're starting on minus 12 points this year, and given the form they were in towards the end of last year, I just can't see them staying up, to be honest. They made a few decent signings, but I just don't think it'll be enough, and unfortunately I can see Sheffield Wednesday going down to League One. 23rd, I'm going Wycombe. Now, to get promoted last year was a complete miracle. However, I don't think they can perform another miracle this year and stay up in the Championship. I just think it may be one level too high for them. So yeah, the signings haven't been too great so far, so I just don't think Gareth Ainsworth's side will have enough to stay up this year. 22nd, I'm going to say Rotherham. I mean, they're the definition of a yo-yo club, and to be honest, I can't see it changing this year. They haven't brought too well this summer. They've brought a few decent signings, but I think they probably need a bit more to stay up. And at the moment, I can't see them staying up, although I do think it may be close with 21st place. Coventry. Now, I think they'll struggle this season, but I think they could do well next season once they've had a year to set in the Championship. I just can't see them getting too far up the league. However, I do think they may have just about enough to stay up. And yeah, they've recruited pretty well so far, so I'm kind of excited to see what they can do. 20th, I'm saying Luton. Nathan Jones did absolute wonders to keep them in the league last year, replacing Graham Jones after the lockdown. And I think I can see him keeping them in the league again. He's just such a great manager, especially at Luton. Yeah, I just think he can keep them in the league this year and then maybe build on it next year and have a pretty solid season. In 19th, I'm saying Reading. Now, what on earth has gone on at Reading in the last week? Sacking Mark Bowen for no reason and then appointing some unknown Serbian called Vlatko Pornovic just really does not make sense to me, and I think they'll struggle. They have signed Ovi Ajaria permanently, which I think is a good signing, but I just can't see them doing well this season, especially with all the late off-season distractions. In 18th, I'm saying Barnsley. I think they found a gem in Gerhard Struber, to be honest. He's done an incredible job last year to keep them up in all somewhat lucky circumstances, but I really do think they can kick on this year and not be near the relegation zone. In 17th, I'm saying Birmingham. Now, Birmingham's an interesting one. They had a pretty mid-table season and then just fell away towards the end of last season, appointing Aitor Karanka, which I think is a great appointment, by the way, a seriously underrated manager. But their signings, they've made a lot of signings, a few decent ones, but there's been none that have really made you go, wow, what a signing that is. He could take Birmingham to the next level. So to be honest, I can't really see Birmingham improving too much, to be honest. In 16th, I've gone for Bristol City. Now, they had a good start to the season, then fell away a bit in the second half of the season. I think the decision to appoint Mr. Holden on a permanent basis may be a mistake. I think they probably needed a bit of a change of direction once Lee Johnson finally departed the club, especially when the likes of Chris Hewson were available. And I do worry for them this year. I think this could be the year where they start slipping down the table, so I've gone for them in 16th. In 15th, I've gone for Huddersfield. Now, the decision to hire Mr. Cabrera as their manager was an interesting one. I'm not sure if he will be doing better than the Cowleys. I thought the decision to sack the Cowleys was utter madness. But this man does have experience working under Marcelo Bielsa, so that could come in very handy. And I think they'll improve slightly, maybe to a finish of 15th, just in clear mid-table. 14th, I've gone for QPR. I think they'll finish around a similar position where they did last year. Eze going is a big blow, but they probably needed to sell to help their financial situation. I think they've made a few decent signings, especially Rob Dickie. He is a great signing, especially when clubs like Newcastle are sniffing around him. but I don't think it'll improve them, and I think they'll stay roughly about mid-table. 13th, I'm going to say Middlesbrough. Now, I think that'll be a lot higher than they were last year under Jonathan Woodgate. And of course, Neil Warnock does a great job in the Championship. However, I can't see them challenging this year for some reason. Just think that club's gone downhill massively over the last couple of years, and I think it will take more than Neil Warnock to get them right up to the top end of the table again. 12th, I'm going to say Blackburn. They've had 2 really solid seasons in the Championship now under Tony Mowbray, and one in League One under him. And I think they're going to have another consistent table, just sneaking into the top half this year. And yeah, I can see them continuing doing a good job in the Championship, because I would say they're probably overachieving at the moment. 7th, I'm going to say Bournemouth. Now, I do worry for Bournemouth a bit. I'm not sure if Jason Tyndall was the right appointment, but I guess it'll always be him. But in the long haul, I worry for Bournemouth. Spent so much money on players. They haven't built the stadium up or a training ground, which they really should have improved while they were in the Premier League. So I do worry for them, and I think this year could be the start of a bit of a downward spiral for them. In 10th, I'm going to say Swansea. Now, Steve Cooper and co did a great job there last year. However, they have had a big summer of losses this year. Ryan Brewster, of course, going back to Liverpool will make a huge difference. And they've lost their chairman to Spurs. He had done a great job in stabilising the club. So I do worry for them in that regard. Yeah, but I still think they've brought in some decent players like Jamal Lowe. So it'll be interesting to see what they can do. In 9th, I'm going to say Stoke. Now, Stoke are an interesting one. Obviously had a dreadful start under Nathan Jones, but then picked up hugely while Michael O'Neill was in charge. And I can see them having a decent season this year after an underperforming one this year. Thinking getting them back in and around the playoffs and really elevating them. So I think they've got a good chance this year. In 8th, I'm going to say Millwall. Millwall had a really good season last year under Gary Rowett and has really turned their fortunes over the last few years around. And I can see them doing another really solid job and getting them in and around the playoffs again, which would probably be an overachievement in my eyes. Yeah, they've brought well this summer so far, and I think they continue doing it. So, yeah, I think they've got a good chance of being in and around the playoffs again. 7th, I'm going to say Preston. Now, Preston, they've kind of missed out on the playoffs recently towards the end of the season. I can see the similar things happening again, but I can see them being closer this time. They've got quite a complete squad now with the likes of Jaden Stockley, Scott Sinclair, so I can see them having a good season. However, I think they may just miss out on the playoffs again. 6th, I'm going to say Cardiff. Neil Harris did a great job there last year to get them in the playoffs, and I don't see why he can't do it again. They've got a really solid base, and I think they could probably kick on because they were the informed team towards the end of the season, so I think they've got a good chance of being in the playoffs again. In 5th, I'm going to say Nottingham Forest. Now, obviously, they suffered that heartbreak on the last day of the season, but this year I think they could just get in the playoffs. They've brought well with the likes of Lyle Taylor coming in, and I think they could do a pretty solid job this year and get into the playoffs. Whether they'll win it or not is a different question, but I definitely think they'll get it. In 4th, I'm going to say Derby. Wayne Rooney has just made such a difference that side since coming in, and I think they're going to be right at the top this season with a couple of additions. I can see them really challenging next season, and could it finally be the year where they get to the Prem? Possibly. In 3rd, I'm going to say Watford. Watford, they were probably unlucky to go down. The decision to get rid of Nigel Pearson was a joke, but I still think they should be up there. They've still got some great players, and signing the likes of Glenn Murray won't hurt them at all. So, yeah, I definitely think they'll be up there, but maybe just fall short of automatic promotion. In 2nd, I'm going to say Norwich. I've been really impressed with the signings they've made, especially Jordan Hugill scores goals in the Championship, and him and Pookie up front in the Championship could cause absolute havoc. If they manage to keep some of their key players like Todd Cantwell as well. Buendia are probably unlikely, but possible. Then they're in a really good position, and I think they could well make a return to the Premier League at the first attempt. First, I'm going to say Brentford. I think this is their year. The way they recruit is just so fantastic, and I genuinely think it could be their year. Watkins and Ben Rama will probably go, no problem for them. They've already recruited Tony as an replacement for Watkins, and I just think this could be their year, really. Anyway guys, that is it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts about the Championship this season in the comments down below and your predictions. Remember to follow me on Twitter, link in the description down below. Subscribe to my other channels on screen right now, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace.